Greetings, Okuna Recaps here. In this video, I'm gonna explain a South Korean crime action drama movie called New World. Spoilers ahead. Proceed with caution and have fun. The movie starts with a bleeding man. He is begging to a man named Ja-sung to believe him, and he's not a rat. But Ja-sung and his men still don't believe him, so they pour liquid cement into his mouth and kill him. Then they put the body into a barrel and dump it into the ocean. Gold Moon is the biggest crime syndicate in South Korea, operating under the disguise of a legitimate corporate enterprises run by Chairman Suk. A breaking news is broadcasting about how the prosecution has to drop charges against Chairman Suk due to the lack of evidence. Chairman Suk is traveling somewhere while listening to the news about him. He looks really satisfied for his triumph over the law enforcement. Suddenly, a truck runs straight into Chairman Suk's car. The next morning, Ja-sung's friend, Shanghai boss Young-chung, arrives Korea. Young-chung confesses Ja-sung that he believes someone put a hit on Chairman Suk. Then he gives a red bag to Ja-sung as a present for his wife's pregnancy. Ja-sung opens the present and finds fake watches. Not amused, he tells Young-chung to give his wife instead and not to buy those products again as a joke. At the hospital, Young-chung, Jung-gu, and other high-ranking members of Gold Moon are waiting for the operation result. The doctors come out of the operation room and declares that Chairman Suk is dead. At the funeral of Chairman Suk, undercover agents are in a van trying to take pictures of Gold Moon members. Suddenly, Jung-gu smashes the car window and takes the camera from the agents. He destroys the camera angrily and orders his men to take photos of undercover agents. Lieutenant Kang comes out from the back of the van and tells Jung-gu to pay for the damage. So Jung-gu takes out some cash and throws at Kang. Kang smiles and tells Jung-gu that he's got a promotion and he's a section chief now. But Jung-gu says nothing back to Kang and leaves. Kang picks up the money and scolds his agents for not doing their job properly. Chief Kang's supervisor is secretly briefing his senior officer about his plan, called Operation New World, to take down Gold Moon. He says there's a turmoil happening amongst the high-ranking members of Gold Moon after the death of Chairman Suk, and there are 3 potential successors to become the next chairman, but they only have to pay attention to power players like Jung-gu and Young-chung. They don't have to worry about the 3rd successor, Jang Soo-ki, because he's just a formality. Besides, if something goes wrong, the only price to pay is the lives of Gold Moon members. Senior officer is not entirely sure about the plan, and he wants to save his neck if things go south, so he orders Chief Kang's supervisor to keep him in the dark about the operation. Meanwhile, Ja-sung is playing Korean chess with a woman. Turns out, Ja-sung is a deep undercover police officer and the woman is his handler. He reports his handler that the secret information about the high-ranking members of Gold Moon are all in order and asks her whether his mission is over or not. The woman says he now has a new mission. Ja-sung gets angry and sets off to an abandoned warehouse to meet Section Chief Kang. Turns out, he's the one who convinced Ja-sung to go undercover and promised Ja-sung's mission will be over when Chairman Suk is dead. So Ja-sung confronts Kang to keep his promise, but Kang breaks his promise and threatens Ja-sung that there are only 3 people in the world who knows the true identity of Ja-sung. So if he quits, he'll be hunted down by both law enforcement and gangsters. Feared for his life, Ja-sung has no choice but to accept the new mission. As he's about to leave, Kang gives him a present for his wife's pregnancy. Ja-sung realizes that he is being watched, so he angrily throws Kang's present into the pool and leaves. 2 days later, Gold Moon members hold the board meeting and decide to vote for the new chairman in the next week. At the same time, Young-chung realizes that the power struggle between him and Jung-gu has reached to a boiling point, so Young-chung tells Ja-sung that he has to go back to Shanghai for some unfinished business, and he worries that Jung-gu might do something stupid while he's away. Meanwhile, Chief Kang and his supervisor are discussing about Ja-sung. Kang assures his supervisor not to worry, but still, the supervisor orders Kang to tighten the leash around Ja-sung. On the other hand, Ja-sung asks his handler about the other spy who is reporting his movements to Kang. She replies she can't reveal because of the protocol. Frustrated, Ja-sung slams the chessboard with a teacup. His hand is bleeding now, but he informs her that Young-chung will be leaving to Shanghai tomorrow. Meanwhile, Jung-gu secretly gathers some Gold Moon members and threatens their lives to vote for him in upcoming chairman election. Feared for their own lives, they have no choice but to agree. At the same time, Young-chung and Ja-sung arrive at the airport. To his surprise, Ja-sung notices some secret agents inside the airport and becomes nervous. As soon as Young-chung crosses the airport security check, the agents apprehend him and take him to Kang. Kam shows the police report files of Gold Moon's illegal activities to Young-chung and he wants him to snitch on Jung-gu. But Young-chung refuses to reveal anything about Jung-gu. On the plane, Young-chung orders his lawyer to investigate Kang and to call the Chinese assassins. The next day, while Jung-gu is having a meal, Kang and the police bust into the restaurant and arrests him. Then Kang calls a woman on the phone and scolds her why she hasn't reported to him for a week. Turns out, the woman is Ja-sung's wife who has been spying on him to report back to Kang. Kang tells her that she's getting soft because of the baby she had with Ja-sung. The comment makes her angry and she tells Kang she'll fight for Ja-sung and the baby. But Kang threatens her that Ja-sung will kill her if he finds out about her and hangs up the phone. Then he meets with Young-chung. Young-chung tries to bribe Kang with a lot of money. But Kang tells Young-chung that he's not corrupt and he still wants Young-chung to cooperate. Young-chung replies he will think about it and leaves. Then he opens a package which contains confidential information about Kang and his secret operation. Young-chung feels skeptical about the information, but his lawyer reassures him that he's got these information from the best Chinese hacker group. He orders his lawyer to give green light for the Chinese assassins. After that, Young-chung summons Ja-sung to Incheon warehouse. Ja-sung's handler is being watched as she returns to the safe house. As soon as she gets inside, she checks her computer. Suddenly, she hears a commotion at the front door. She looks at the CCTV footage and sees 4 men trying to open the front door. She calls Kang, informs him that her cover has been blown, and hangs up the phone. Then she takes out her gun and defends herself. She manages to kill one of the 4 Chinese assassins hired by Young-chung, but she's outnumbered and kidnapped by the remaining 3 Chinese assassins. When Ja-sung arrives at the warehouse, Young-chung orders one of the Chinese assassins to bring a barrel and tells Ja-sung to see for himself. Ja-sung is shocked to find his handler woman inside the barrel. He realizes his cover is blown and he's now a dead man. But to his surprise, Young-chung asks him does he know his chess teacher is a spy and tells him about another cop hiding inside Gold Moon. Young-chung calls one of Ja-sung's bodyguards to his side and beats him with a shovel mercilessly. Surprised, Ja-sung looks at the confidential documents and finds that his bodyguard is also an undercover cop. After Young-chung killed the bodyguard, he orders the Chinese assassins to have some fun with the handler woman. But Ja-sung takes a gun from one of the Chinese assassins and kills her by himself. On the other hand, Kang is angry that the mission is exposed and his best agents are getting killed. So he meets Jung-gu and gives some photos of him and Young-chung talking together. Even though Kang's tactics didn't work with Young-chung, Jung-gu's hatred of Young-chung blinds his judgment, and he believes Young-chung had ratted him out. So Jung-gu orders his men to kill Young-chung immediately. Then Kang meets Ja-sung. Suddenly, Jang Soo-ki walks into the room. Jang Soo-ki and Ja-sung are both stunned to find each other. Ja-sung realizes Kang's plan and gets angry. Jang Soo-ki notices the situation and leaves the duo. Ja-sung demands to know about the whole plan and warns Kang not to leave him in the dark this time. Kang replies that he plans to use Jang Soo-ki as a puppet. Ja-sung will have to let Jang Soo-ki to become the next chairman so that he can finally take down Gold Moon criminal organization. Kang adds that they were hacked by Chinese hackers last week, and Young-chung probably knows about Ja-sung too. He has to wipe out all of the data, so there are only 3 people in the world, Ja-sung, Kang, and Kang's supervisor, know about the mission. Besides, Ja-sung doesn't have to worry about Young-chung because Jung-gu's men are taking care of him as they speak. Sure enough, Young-chung knows about Ja-sung's identity, but he chooses not to kill Ja-sung and keeps Ja-sung's police files in his safe. While Young-chung and his men are in the parking lot, they are ambushed by Jung-gu's men. Young-chung survived the ambush, but he's in a critical condition. Meanwhile, Jung-gu's men are following Ja-sung's wife too, but the police are already waiting for them at Ja-sung's house. Unfortunately, Ja-sung's wife lost the baby because of the sudden shock. At the hospital, Young-chung calls Ja-sung to sit beside him and tells him that he left a present in his office. With his last breath, Young-chung tells Ja-sung it is time to choose a side, and then he passes away. At Young-chung's funeral, Ja-sung orders his men to follow Jang Soo-ki and signals the Chinese assassins to do something. Then he comes to Young-chung's office and opens the safe. He finds his police documents and a box, which contains 2 fake watches which Young-chung had bought for him as a joke. He tries to hold his tears and wears the fake watch. On the morning of Gold Moon Board meeting day, the police intentionally release Jung-gu from the prison. Ja-sung's men are already watching his every move. They follow him to his unfinished apartment and kill him. Meanwhile, Jang Soo-ki tries to take Ja-sung to a remote place to eliminate him, but Jia Sung had already told his men that their boss is the rat who had been snitching every Gold Moon members to the police. So Jiang Suqi's own men kill him. At the same time, one of the Chinese assassins enters an abandoned warehouse where Kong is fishing. Kong realizes his fate and tries to defend with his gun, but the Chinese assassin stabs his heart with a knife and kills him. On the other hand, the other Chinese assassins are watching closely as Kang's supervisor gets in his car to go to work. They follow his car with a taxi and kill both the driver and Kang's supervisor. While Gold Moon members are waiting for Jiang Suqi, one of Jia Sung's men rushes into the room and informs that Jiang Suqi is dead. Gold Moon members are terrified right now. Then Jia Sung enters the meeting room. Terrified Gold Moon members have no choice but to vote for Jia Sung as the chairman and cheers for him. Jia Sung's plan is perfect. Finally, Jia Sung destroys his police files. The movie ends as Jia Sung lights a cigarette and remembers the times he had with his friend, Yung Chung. Subscribe and turn on the notification for more videos like this. Smash a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching and catch you in the next one.